Today we're talking about Blacksburg versus Christiansburg and which could be the right spot for you to live. Because if you're thinking about making a move to the New River Valley, chances are you've already heard of these two towns and they keep coming up over and over again. Blacksburg and Christiansburg. Now they sit right next to each other, they both have beautiful mountain views, and they share a lot of DNA. But they each have their own unique personality, pros and cons, and price tags. And if you're moving from out of town, you're probably trying to sort out things like commute times, price points, the overall feel and culture of each place, and how far you'll be from groceries and Target runs, and of course, Virginia Tech. Now in this video, I'm going to break down each town by lifestyle, commute, proximity, housing prices, shopping, tax rates, and more. Now trust me, by the end of the video, I bet you'll know enough to start leaning one way or another. But first, let's look at a quick map. Blacksburg and Christiansburg sit back to back along US 460 and just north of I-81 in Montgomery County. Now Virginia Tech's main campus is in Blacksburg, and it shapes the local economy, the calendar, and the culture there. Now Christiansburg, on the other hand, hugs I-81 with more of the region's big box shopping, a cluster of newer neighborhoods, and a slightly more suburban feel. Now both towns feed into Montgomery County Public Schools, and both are surrounded by the Blue Ridge scenery, the trail systems, and endless weekend day trip opportunities. Now we're going to look at a variety of differentiating factors, but the simplest way to describe the overarching two different cultures of Blacksburg and Christiansburg is to say that Blacksburg has this very college town feel, this locally owned and locally grown type of community. You won't find big box retailers, and that's intentional. So no Target, no Best Buy, no Olive Garden, etc. Instead, you'll find locally owned mom and pop style retailers, boutiques, and authentic independently owned restaurants. Now, even though Blacksburg has a lot of big Division I athletic teams because of Virginia Tech, it also has an equal emphasis and appreciation for the arts and music and a vibrant farmers market and other just locally owned and locally grown qualities. Now, Christiansburg, on the other hand, has more of that suburban big box type of culture. You'll find all the major retailers and restaurants that you would expect in a larger town. And it's bigger, a little busier, but with more mainstream convenience at your fingertips. Now, when further comparing the two towns, let's start with the obvious. If your world revolves around Virginia Tech, maybe you work there, you're in research, or you just want a short walk from game days and campus events, well, Blacksburg is the easy choice. Virginia Tech is right in the middle of town, and it shapes almost everything about life in Blacksburg. You'll feel that buzz from the first day of classes in August all the way through graduation in May. And if you live nearby, you can get to campus and downtown in just a few minutes. Now, Christiansburg is the next town over, and it's more of a 10 to 20 minute drive to get to campus depending on what part of Christiansburg you live in. So for some people, that extra drive isn't a big deal, especially if they only need to be on campus occasionally. But if you're working at Tech every day and you don't love hopping on the highway, even though it is a very short drive, well, living in Blacksburg will save you some time. Now, shopping and everyday errands is where Christiansburg really shines. It's the shopping hub for the whole region. Target, Home Depot, Dick's Sporting Goods, the mall, tons of chain restaurants. If you need it, it's probably in Christiansburg. Now, a lot of people in Blacksburg who live in Blacksburg still go to Christiansburg throughout the week to knock out their errands. Blacksburg does have grocery stores like Kroger and Food Lion, and some retailers and boutiques, and a very walkable downtown. But if you're the type of person who loves everything looped in just one stop, groceries, hardware stores, Target Run, Chick-fil-A, well, you're going to end up in Christiansburg anyway. Now, before we move on, let me mention that I have spent countless hours creating a very thorough guide that covers Blacksburg, Christiansburg, and other surrounding areas. My Welcome to the New River Valley guide will do more than just introduce these two towns. It covers the economic makeup of the area, the major industries that call this place home, and it has over 35 different attractions highlighted, so whether you're into hiking and outdoor life, or music and the arts, or retail shopping, or sports, or family attractions, you'll find everything that interests you that would make you feel right at home living here. So I'll put my contact information on the screen. Feel free to shoot me a text or an email, and I'll send a copy to you for free. Now, another thing to think about is proximity to Roanoke. That's the nearest city with bigger shopping, concerts, and a regional airport. Now, there's not a huge difference in drive time between Roanoke and Christiansburg and Blacksburg because, after all, Christiansburg and Blacksburg are themselves just about 10 to 20 minutes apart. So from Blacksburg, you're looking at about a 45 to 50 minute drive depending on what part of town you live in. And from Christiansburg, you shave off a little of that time because you're a little closer and right off of I-81, so those airport runs are a little bit quicker. There's also a regional bus that runs from Blacksburg and Christiansburg into Roanoke, which is handy if you don't want to drive or if you have someone flying in to visit. But if you're the kind of person who's up and down I-81 often, maybe because you travel for work or you head into Roanoke for the weekends, Christiansburg will be a little more convenient. Now here's the part that everybody wants to know: housing prices. Blacksburg is the more expensive of the two. Primarily because of the proximity to Virginia Tech, the average home price runs a bit higher. Now, as of the time of recording this video, the median sales price for a single-family home in Blacksburg town limits has hovered around the high 400s to the low 500s. Now, homes tend to be older and in more established neighborhoods. And while some homes in Blacksburg have been updated, generally speaking, the homes and their style and architecture are a bit more aged. Now, small asterisk here, because just outside of Blacksburg town limits, there are two brand new construction developments going in that still have Blacksburg zip codes and school systems with brand new homes. Now, Christiansburg, on the other hand, usually comes in a bit lower in price. Median prices there are more in the low to mid 300s, and there was a bit more development that happened in Christiansburg after Blacksburg, so you'll also see some newer subdivisions and construction. So if your focus is on stretching your dollar further and getting more house for your budget, or if you prefer newer layouts and modern finishes, Christiansburg has more options. It really just comes down to whether you want to pay a premium to be closer to campus and downtown, or stretch your dollar further for more house and newer updates in Christiansburg. Now, both towns are in Montgomery County, so you'll pay county taxes plus your town's tax rate. And as of right now, Blacksburg's combined rate is about $1.01 per $100 of assessed value, while Christiansburg's is 89 cents per $100 of assessed value. Now, that doesn't sound like a huge difference, but over time it can add up, especially on higher priced homes in Blacksburg. In terms of traffic and commute patterns, in Blacksburg, traffic ebbs and flows with the Virginia Tech calendar. Morning and afternoon rush around campus can get a little backed up, and game days are their own unique challenge. But the flip side is that if you live in town, you can often get anywhere you need to in about 5 to 10 minutes. And to be honest, I probably shouldn't have even brought up traffic at all, because even when it's bad, it's barely anything at all. In fact, my elementary school daughter thinks that when we stop at red lights at intersections, we're in traffic, because our traffic in both towns is so minimal, it's negligible. And that's why she thinks we're in traffic when we stop at red lights. So clearly we are spoiled here with little real traffic. Christiansburg's busiest spots are around Franklin Street, Pepper's Ferry, and the shopping corridors, especially on weekends. But because you've got direct access to Highway 460, you can just jump on the interstate quickly and head in either direction without much trouble. Blacksburg feels like a classic college town. It's walkable in certain pockets, you've got coffee shops and local breweries, arts events, and of course, Virginia Tech athletics. You'll see a lot of bikes, a lot of students, and a lot of professors mixed into neighborhoods with longtime residents. Christiansburg, on the other hand, feels more suburban, like I mentioned, so you'll see cul-de-sacs, two-car garages, and newer neighborhoods with more square footage. The town invests in very family-friendly amenities like the Aquatic Center and the beautiful brand new Huckleberry Park. And you're still only a few minutes from hiking trails and outdoor recreation. So if you want that college town energy, Blacksburg delivers. And if you want a little bit more space and a quieter pace, Christiansburg may be the better fit. And when it comes to outdoor access, this one's a tie, because both towns connect to the Huckleberry Trail, which runs and connects Blacksburg to Christiansburg via a paved trail. And both towns are a short drive from the Appalachian Trail and the famous hikes like McAfee Knob. And both sit right next to the Blue Ridge Mountains, so you'll never run out of outdoor options. Now, Blacksburg is a bit closer to Jefferson National Forest, and that begins in the town's northern border and brings some awesome scenery to places like Pandapis Pond. Let's talk schools. Since both towns share Montgomery County Public Schools, there's no separate school system here, but there is, of course, school district zoning based on where you live. Now, by law, real estate professionals like myself can't advise on school quality or steer you based on school ratings, but we can point out to you primary sources and tools so you can make your own call. So I recommend starting with the Virginia Department of Education's school quality profiles, which publish data on achievement, college and career readiness, and more for for every school in the state. Now, many families may also consult third-party sites like Great Schools or Niche to see how those sites interpret publicly available data and parent reviews. I always recommend, though, using multiple sources, visit the schools whenever you can, and keep in mind that boundaries and programs can change. So let's do a quick recap. Blacksburg pros. Well, you're close to Virginia Tech, has a walkable downtown, tons of energy, very established feeling neighborhoods, and mom and pop local community feel. The Blacksburg cons are higher home prices, higher town tax rate, and you'll still drive to Christiansburg for those Target and Chick-fil-A runs. Now, Christiansburg pros. More affordable homes, more newer construction options, and all the shopping and big box stores, along with easier access to I-81 and Roanoke. And the Christiansburg cons. Longer commute time to Tech, there may be some busier retail traffic, and there's not as much of that college town vibe. So if you want walkability and the energy of Virginia Tech, and you don't mind paying a little extra for it, Blacksburg is probably where you'll want to be. And if you want more square footage for your money and everyday shopping is right at your fingertips, along with that easier interstate access to Roanoke, Christiansburg is probably your right match. Either way, you can't go wrong. Both towns are surrounded by beautiful mountains and trails and friendly people, so it's really just about choosing the lifestyle that fits you best. So, which one sounds more like you, Blacksburg or Christiansburg? If you're still not sure, that's where I can help. I work with families relocating to the New River Valley all the time, and I would love to hear what matters most to you, whether that's commute time or school research or housing style or just day-to-day convenience. So you can find my contact information on the screen, and please reach out. Let's start the conversation. We can even set up a side-by-side search of both communities so you can see what your budget gets you in both towns and make the decision with real numbers in front of you. And hey, if you found the information helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more New River Valley real estate insight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.